Welcome back, one and all, to the Culture of Currency, the channel created to show that all can collect and respect coins from around the world. We do this by making sure we budget around $100 a month on silver coins. It is our hope to bring you content that shows that you can start or continue your journey with intentionality while learning more about the inspiration behind each coin. Today's video is a fun one. We are diving into a coin that has been a legend in coins. Today is all about the Britannia. When we talk about the Britannia, we are talking about a common silver coin coming out of England. But that is not where this coin or imagery starts. For that, we must travel back in time just a little. This story starts in 55 BC. England at the time was not what we fantasize about. The line of monarchies had not been established, and a nation as we would consider it was far from the reality. This is a time where land was starting to bear fruit as farming techniques were developed during the Iron Age. Using the earth as defensive advantage, the landscape was dotted with hilly forts to provide safety from attack, though there were occasional areas where stones were actually being used for construction. We have the first coins also minted in this time. Meanwhile, in Rome, the mighty legions are amassing under Caesar. He's under pressure from the Senate, and political unrest is rampant in the kingdom. In order to maintain power and might from Rome, he extends the Gallic Wars into what we now know as England. This is the first onslaught of many in which Rome tries to take England, and this is where the Britannia is born. When you look at the Britannia itself, you will realize that this lady is much more Greek or Roman than English. We do have the Union Jack on the shield, but this is a maiden wielding a trident and has a Roman helmet along with her almost toga style dress. The reason we have the word Britannia is because the Greeks and Romans called the cluster of islands off the shore of Gaul, or what we know as France, Britannia, among other names. The Romans took over much of the island, but never took over the whole island. They constructed Hadrian's Wall, named after Emperor Hadrian, to mark where the Roman jurisdiction ended. Rome's time in Britain lasted a little while, bringing many Roman ideas to the island, such as building techniques, technologies, and culture. I do not want to waste too much of your time, but basically, over time, Rome was spread too thin and eventually could not maintain control of its entire empire, so they drew back their forces. The name Britannia, however, stayed. It was lived through stories and aspects of medieval life until the moniker for it became Britain itself. When you look at a Britannia coin, you are actually looking at the culture of Rome and Greece's influence on England. Now that you know how this coin came to be, let's take a look at it and place it on our scale. The silver Britannia I have purchased was a random year from APMEX. They sent me a rather special coin whether they knew it or not. This is a 2013 and actually has a snake privy on the rim. This, however, was not my first Britannia in all honesty. My first was given to me by my grandmother and is actually an Old English penny from 1937. Look how the idea of the Britannia is unchanged. We do have King George VI on this coin rather than the Queen, Elizabeth II. But let's get back to the silver coin. When ranking the front of the coin, I have to consider that this was a 2013 and a little before the race to customize coinage was evident. It's very basic, nothing over the top, but nothing is poor quality. It scores a 5. The back of the coin features the stunning Britannia. I absolutely love the design, but I think it falls short on the finish. This is all in mirror finish, which is standard for that time but falls short when it comes to the more modern coins, so I can only give it a 7 out of 10. When it comes to mintage, the Britannia is usually fairly high mintage. However, this particular coin has that snake privy, and my research indicates that this is rare and only seen about 5% of the time, so I have to score this Britannia as a 9 out of 10. When we think about cultural significance, we do have the argument that is it more Roman than English? But that is an invalid argument. It would be the equivalent of saying the liberty on the silver eagle is not Native American, so it has no significance. You can't do that. The Britannia is in the blood and foundation of England itself. You cannot divide the two. It has to get a 10 from me. When it comes to uniqueness, the Britannia is very common, however, this Britannia is rare with the snake Privy. So it scores a 7 out of 10 from me. This brings the total score of my Snake Privy 2013 Britannia to 48 out of 60. I think every collection should have at least one Britannia. The culture and history of this coin is one of the strongest out there. Until next time, stay classy and current with the culture of currency.